Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me today for this practice of a flow and stretch. So you might want 2 blocks, maybe a blanket and a strap handy, and let's get started. So come down onto your mats, and from here, just come into table pose, knees about hip distance apart, neutral spine, wrists about shoulder distance, and begin to flow in your cat-cow. Inhale, tip your tailbone up, draw your heart forward, look forward for cow. Exhale, draw your belly in, look to your knees for cat. Inhale, cow, arching, look forward. Exhale, draw your belly in, look to your knees for cat. One more. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And then come back to neutral. And just find any movement that feels good to you. Maybe moving your shoulders or hips in whatever way feels good. And then come to a seat. Legs in whatever position works for you. If it's not comfortable to be cross-legged, just have your legs out in front of you. You might benefit from sitting on a blanket. I get mine a little bit closer. So sitting on a blanket to lift your hips up a little bit sometimes is a little easier to have a long spine. And then lift one arm up and side bend over to the other side. Notice how that feels. You might look up, straight ahead, or you might look down and release your neck. Inhale, come back up. Lower your other hand down, reach the other arm up, and side bend over to your other side. Choose your gaze. And then inhale, coming back up. And exhale, lower the arms down. And then let's transition back into table pose. Setting your props aside. And widen your knees a little bit. You can keep your toes touching or widen your feet. Sit your hips back. Sit your hips back in between your heels. You can lower your forearms down. Maybe reach for a block. You can have the block maybe at the medium or low setting, or even the tall setting, and rest your forehead on the block. Elbows a little bit close to your knees. They can be wider than your knees or in front of your knees. So your forearms are supporting you, and your head is supported on the block. Breathe here. Make sure your knees feel okay here. We'll take a few breaths here. And then thoughtfully on your next inhale, lift your head. Set your block aside. Bring yourself back into table pose, knees under your hips. You can have your blocks at either side of your mat. And then from here, tuck your toes. Reach your hips up and back for a downward dog. Find your variation. Taking your hips up and back as you take your heart towards your toes. You might bend your knees. Feel that stretch in your upper back and shoulders. Draw your belly in slightly, lifting up your tail to the sky. And then walk your feet towards your hand. Come up halfway, hands onto your shins, look forward, bend your knees, hands to your thighs. Easy chair, and then slowly rise up, hands to your heart. Coming into variation of mountain pose here. Press your hands together a little more firmly if you ever feel lightheaded. And you can also give your glutes a little squeeze. And then release your hands to your side. Pause here in mountain pose. Ground into your feet. Feel your legs activate. Nice long spine. Rooting down and rising up. So now we're going to move our blocks to the long side of our mat. I'm going to move my blanket out of the way a little bit. And from the long side of your mat, take a wide stance. Start with your feet wide and parallel. And then turn your heels in, toes out. Bend your knees, making sure your knees are tracking in line with your toes. Hands to your heart, goddess. Notice how this feels. Might feel intense in the hips. And then inhale, come up off your knee bend, reach your arms up. Hands touch, exhale, rebend your knees, come back into goddess. Again, inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, rebend your knees, come back into goddess. One more. Inhale, come up off that knee bend, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart, goddess. And then fierce goddess, goalpost arms. Inhale, straighten your legs, reach your arms up. 5-pointed star, spreading your fingers wide. Press into your feet as you lengthen and stretch through your arms. Lift your gaze. And then exhale, lower your hands and arms down. Parallel your feet. And then turn your right foot away from you towards the short end of your mat. Bend your right knee. Take your left heel slightly back, bending your front knee so that the knee is just about over your ankle. Make sure it doesn't go beyond the ankle. Shoulders about over your hips, and hips at a slight angle. Arms come up about shoulder height. Warrior two. Breathe here. Gaze softly over your right fingertips. Notice your breath. Ground into your feet. Feel those legs nice and strong. Expressing your inner warrior. Acknowledging your inner strength and resilience. Just an option. Reverse your warrior. Turn the front palm up. Back arm lightly. Back fingertips to the back leg. Reaching up. Keep the same knee bend and hip position in the front leg. And then come back to warrior two. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Turn the right toes in, lower your arms. And then turn your left foot away from you. Bend your left knee. Warrior two on the other side. So again, adjust your feet where they feel stable to you. Check that front knee right about over your front ankle. Hips a little bit of an angle, about 45-degree angle. Shoulders about over your hips. Arms about shoulder height. Gaze softly over your front fingertips. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Breathe here. Appreciate your inner strength and resilience. You are stronger than you know. You can get through anything that life gives you. Accepting your challenges. You are strong. You are a warrior, peaceful warrior. And again, option, reverse your warrior. Keep that same position in your front knee and hip. Back hand lightly on the back leg. Inhale, coming back up, warrior two. And then straighten that front leg. Turn the left toes in, lower your arms. And then hands to your hips. Take an inhale. Exhale, nice long spine. Come into your wide leg forward fold. Hands where they make sense to you. Nice long spine. Feel that stretch in your legs. You might keep your hands on blocks or to the mat. So you might have those blocks just about shoulder distance. You might stay here. If you would like to go deeper, you can bring your hands down onto the mat. Feet stay parallel. You can bring the feet in a little closer or widen them. And try to keep your hips in line with your ankles as you come a little forward, as you come a little further forward, if that makes sense to you. Breathe here. If you're someone that can come pretty deep, you might reach your hands behind your heels and maybe bring your head to the mat or a block. You might place your head on one or two blocks. Just make sure your hands are still supporting you and that this feels stable to you. You can position the blocks at a variety of heights. And if you are comfortable supporting your head in this way, it can be very calming to the nervous system. So notice how this feels. And then take a few more breaths wherever you are. Find your variation. Press into your feet. Legs are active. You can have the legs a little bent if that feels better for you. And then on your next inhale, come up halfway. Hands either on fingertips or blocks. And from here, we're going to make our way back down onto the mat. So thoughtfully heel toe your feet in a little closer. Bend your knees. Lower down onto one knee and then the other. Place your blocks aside. Come into any comfortable seat and pause. Notice how you feel. And then come to a seat with your legs out in front of you. Bend your right knee. Take your right foot across the left leg and bring your right hand behind you. Keep your left foot active. The whole left leg is active, toes up to the sky. You can have your left hand sort of to the outside of that right knee and position your right foot where it feels best to you. Right hand is supporting you at the back. It can be on fingertips or you can have your palm down on the mat, maybe a little closer to your hip. Inhale, nice long spine. Exhale, twist to your right. Remember never to force your way into any twists. Breathe here. Inhale, unwind, straighten that right leg out. Pause for a moment, notice sensation. And then other side. Bend your left knee. Cross that left foot over your right leg. Nice tall spine, right toes up to the sky. Left hand goes behind you for support, right hand to the outside of that left knee. Lengthen through your spine as you inhale. Exhale, twist to your left. Breathe here. On your next inhale, unwind. Come back to center. Straighten that left leg. And then bring the soles of your feet together, coming into a Baddha Konasana, more like a butterfly with the heels further away from your hips. You might sit on that blanket. If the hips are up a little higher, it's easier to hinge forward. Hands, again, where they make sense to you. They might be on your feet or toes or just out on the mat. Take an inhale, lengthen through your spine, and then exhale, start to hinge from your hips, coming a little deeper into this variation of Baddha Konasana, bound angle, sort of more like that yin butterfly pose. This is a nice way to get a stretch into the outer hips as well as your spine. And then inhale, come back up, bring your knees back in, and we're going to do a little mini Shavasana. Even with a short practice, a short little Shavasana can be really nice. You might use a blanket under your head like a pillow, or you can place a blanket over your hips and lay down. Maybe widen your legs a little bit, arms by your side, maybe palms up. And just invite your body to soften and relax. And invite your legs to be heavy and soft. Relax and release your hips. Relax your back. Soften your shoulders and arms. Soften your belly. Soften the area around your heart. Let your head be heavy. And soften all the muscles in your face, especially around your eyes. And let go. Gently bring your awareness back to being on your mat. Notice your body. Notice your breath. And observe your mind. Begin to make small movements. Wiggle your fingers, toes, whatever would feel good. And then when you're ready, bend one knee and then the other. And make your way thoughtfully over to one side. Slowly press your way back up to a comfortable seat. And with appreciation for your awareness and your focus, perhaps bring your hands together at your heart in Anjali Mudra. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this practice. And remember to like and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time on the mats. See you soon.